Hooray for Hollywood! Hello there, I am Stan the Movie Man, and this is my WIMZ.com monthly movie review for July 2019. This month I went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a film from Quentin Tarantino, his ninth, and possibly his next to last if he keeps his promise about only making 10 movies. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Emile Hirsch, Timothy Olyphant, and Al Pacino, along with many, 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 many others. It is the story of an actor named Rick Dalton, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who realizes he is on the downhill slide of his acting career. He made some movies, and he also starred in a TV show that got canceled, apparently because of him. And now he's doing guest shots on TV shows, usually as the villain who gets caught or killed at the end. Cliff Booth is played by Brad Pitt. He is his stunt double and stand-in, and they have a kind of brotherly relationship, even though it's really more of Rick taking advantage of Cliff as Cliff drives Rick around in his car and does errands for him around his house. Next door, living next door to Rick it's Rick's house in the Hollywood Hills on Cielo Drive, is an actress named Sharon Tate, played by Margot Robbie. She is married to the director Roman Polanski, and they share this house next door to Rick. There is also a group of hippies who live at a place called Spahn Ranch. One of them is Lynette Squeaky Fromm, played by Dakota Fanning. She's kind of the mother superior, if you will, of this ragtag group of mostly teenage girls. And Cliff picks up one of them, one who's called Pussycat, played by Margaret Qualley, as she's hitchhiking, and takes her back to Spahn Ranch. And it's about how this chance encounter leads to an interaction between these two disparate groups of people and how it changed history. Much as the title says, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this movie is Quentin Tarantino's nursery rhyme, his fairy tale of a bygone time in Hollywood as the old guard was being swept out by a younger group of more independent actors and actresses and filmmakers, and how some of those people who were kind of in the in-between were being left behind. It's also a look at the time in 1969, as there was a great deal of social and political upheaval, and how that was being interpreted by the people in Hollywood. And as he has done in some of his other movies, Tarantino changes history, if you will, and I think it's kind of not upsetting, but kind of it's just troubling that he changes this one particular event in history. It's kind of heartbreaking that he changes it. Being a Tarantino film, there are some very bloody, violent scenes in it. A lot of cursing. The F-bomb gets dropped probably 250 times. But the performances from DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, and a very small but pivotal role by Margot Robbie, as well as this huge cast of people, many of whom you will know not only from previous Tarantino films, but also just, because there are famous people in this movie, such as Al Pacino playing a small role. Um, Everybody in the film is terrific, and it's a mesmerizing movie to watch. It takes this sort of time that I vaguely remember because I was in grade school in 1969. But I remember hearing about the Manson murders. I remember the clash, the culture clash between teenagers and young people of the time against their parents or the establishment, and how there was a generation gap, and how it seemed like there was this powder keg that we were sitting on, and it was very close to exploding. And this film sort of encapsulates a lot of that time and that tension by telling the story primarily of Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth and their relationship and what happens to them. It's an entertaining film, and as far as a Tarantino movie goes, pretty straightforward in the telling of the story. I was always curious what was going to happen, and the ending is the fairy tale part of it, and that sort of doesn't exactly, again, doesn't upset me, or it's troubling that this part of history he has manipulated for his film. I enjoyed it a lot of good performances. I suggest you go see it. I'm giving it 5 guitars. You can read my complete review at WIMZ.com in the blogs section. You can check out my weekly reviews at StanTheMovieMan.com. Follow me on Twitter at MovieManStan, and send emails to me, StanTheMovieMan123 at gmail.com. Till next time. Later.